All right. Excuse my voice. I've been sick, so I don't have much of a voice. Just a small update on the 420 Predator supercharged engine. Someone was commenting on one of the videos, and I realized I haven't done anything update-wise with it because I don't think I even had it to this point when I made that video. So here's a quick update on it. I got my lathe going so I could actually open these up and, put the pulleys on here and actually have a belt-driven unit, which leaves me very little space on this side for a clutch. I could run a centrifugal chain clutch, no problem, but if I wanted to run a torque converter, I'm SOL. So led me to some brainstorming, rethinking, and also the charge tube on this side has to come down around and then hook this 180 to get in here, and the charge tube isn't that big at all on this little blower. So I'm really thinking about taking this side off after doing all this work to get it lined up and all. No big deal. And since I don't have the pull start cup on this engine anyway, and it's got an electric start, I'm thinking of just leaving an electric start and actually attaching this to the flywheel, having basically a shaft that would come out, and then have the blower flipped over here. It would make it a little bit higher, but I could also mount it a little bit lower here, and it would just be from here to there. It might make it a little bit more easier to use. It would let me use a centrifugal clutch on the other side and so on and so forth. It's just an idea that kind of popped into my head as I was dragging this off the shelf over here to do this video. Other than that, I've been working on getting this giant bullet vise Wilton cleaned up and back together, and I've just been kind of taking a short break off the camper because it is taking up all my time and my sanity. So hopefully we'll have that at least fully enclosed by maybe the end of the summer or something, I don't know. But I'm gonna take off this air shroud and brainstorm and see what I can't come up with to run it on this side a little bit. So we'll see. I also need to get another input seal for that. All right, I still don't have a voice. Tore this down a little bit, wasn't planning on it, but curiosity got the better of me. Trying to see how I can run off the back side of this flywheel to move the supercharger to the other side so I can run a normal centrifugal clutch on the other side. On a side note, which I forgot to mention with the first clip, I got this little gearbox off of a Polaris from the same guy I actually got the engine from. This is off of a 90s Polaris Explorer. You've got input here. Originally had a 400cc two-stroke with a CVT clutch. You've got forward, reverse, high and high-low. It's an odd setup for sure, because if you look on this side, there is one chain out. This chain went to the rear axle and swing arm. Come out here, there was a carrier bearing and another chain and a disc brake, all on this. The other sprocket went from here, went up forwards to another sprocket on a jack shaft, which went inbound to another sprocket to another chain to the front axle, which has electro-locking hubs. So it's really an odd setup, but now we have a pretty stout little transfer case essentially that will let us run a lot of cool stuff if we want to do something four-wheel drive, which I'm really leaning towards, but we'll see. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, what I'm going to put it on, but it's got I think I did the math. I think the high range is 1.3, sorry, I can't think, 3.25 to 1, and the low range is 6.5 to 1. So it's a fairly wide spread. I'm pretty sure all the gear reduction came through this anyway. So we'll see what we can come up with. I still don't have a go-kart to put anything in, so I feel like it's a waste of having a high range, low range if you put it on something you can't actually play in the mud with or go four-wheel drive with. So we'll see. But I guess said, that's for later on. Brainstorming on this, seeing if I can put on the lathe, which I did redo the head spindle on the lathe, so it's a bit more accurate, less thrust clearances, and blah blah blah. Basically, thinking about opening this up so this nut will sit down in there. Once that's tightened on, basically have this opened up to where it goes over that nut, and then I can put it on the mill and open these up to where it'll bolt on. But this has to be hub sent like spot on to be able to open this up the rest of the way, to have this on it to where it reaches past the fan and the shroud and all that. So I might have to do that and then make some spacers on this to space this out a bit to where I can run it on this side. Other than that, it's fairly straightforward, so we shall see. Alright, so just cut this out on the lathe to where it'll sit over that, and this bolt fits right in there, so put this on, torque it down, and then you put on the fan shroud. This sits over it and kind of holds it in place, and then we'll have 3 bolts here that'll hold that. Then we have a base to build off of for our pulley mount. And for now, this thing is filthy. Instrument grab. For all of you screaming, billet flywheel, billet flywheel. Well, if you want to send me one, go for it. But this is just for proof of concept, and then if I decide to use it, I'll run a billet flywheel. And whatever mods, parts I can get my hands on. But right now, this is prototyping. Prototyping. Still not quite far enough out. Brainstorming is the majority of the job. To be continued. All right, I just threw this part in the lathe together, real quick and dirty, just to get something prototyped. Put it in the lathe, got it somewhat true. I got a mark here, here, and here, because I need to mount notch these so I can put half bolts in. They're gonna half hold it. Might make a mount ring to go sit around it, so it has a full circle to sit in here. Because it's got to go down to these flywheel bolts, and it's got to sit over that, and I got to notch it for this little nipple on the fan. I might just cut it off the fan side. Once I do that, this goes on here. Once I get the depth right, I'll cut off what's left and make sure this is true. I put it in the mill and did some grub screws that go through. It's still hollow in the middle in case I need to run something else. I don't think I'm gonna have to run anything else through that, but there's an update. I did a little bit of work on it. So I'll throw this edit together and put it on the YouTube thing. So appreciate it. Please subscribe and like and share. And I think I'm at 230 subscribers. So when I get to 250, I will give away some junk from my shop, which means I don't have to deal with it anymore. So have a good one. Thank you. And if you have any ideas, feel free to throw them out. We'll see what happens.